A fast-cut montage of extreme moments. A figure clinging to a skyscraper, a motorcycle soaring through the air, a person engulfed in flames, a leap between two rooftops. The cuts are rapid, almost subliminal. A powerful rhythmic heartbeat sound effect drives the pace, growing faster and faster until it abruptly stops. Silence. One mistake, and it's over. This is the razor's edge. It is the place where skill meets consequence, where a single tiny error has a final, irreversible price. We are not here to celebrate recklessness. We are here to respect the incredible discipline required to stare into the abyss and not blink. This is about the men and women who push the absolute limits of human potential. They do it not for glory, but to prove what is possible when preparation meets courage. These moments are not born from luck. They are the result of thousands of hours of training. They are built on a foundation of meticulous planning and a deep understanding of physics, environment, the human body. Every single variable is calculated. Every potential failure is analyzed. The wind speed, the structural integrity, the timing down to the millisecond. Nothing is left to chance. What you see as a moment of pure adrenaline is actually the final step in a long, arduous process. It is a testament to the power of human focus and the will to control every element within one's power when facing the uncontrollable. We will deconstruct these moments. We will measure the risk. We will show you the numbers, the forces at play, and the thin margins that separate success from disaster. This is not about the thrill. It is about the science behind survival. It's about understanding the immense pressure, physical and psychological. Throughout this journey, a critical warning must be remembered. A subtle on-screen disclaimer appears: "Do not attempt," performed by professionals. These are not acts to be imitated. They are masterclasses in risk management, performed by individuals who have dedicated their entire lives to their craft. So, take a breath. Prepare yourself to witness the intersection of precision and peril. We are about to explore 15 minutes of stunts where failure equals the final outcome. We will honor the skill, respect the risk, and understand what it truly takes to walk the line where there is no safety net. This is not a game. This is a world where survival is earned, not given. The stakes are as real as they get. Every second counts and every move could be the last. Let's begin. We begin our ascent into a world of vertical risk. Here, the primary opponent is gravity itself. The first challenge is skyscraper free climbing. There are no ropes. There are no safety nets. There is only the climber, the building, and the vast empty space below. Imagine clinging to the side of a glass and steel giant hundreds of meters in the air. Every handhold and foothold is a life or death decision. The surface can be slippery from morning dew or unpredictable from loose panels. It's a vertical chess match where a single miscalculation ends the game. The physical strength required is immense, but the mental fortitude is even greater. One moment of doubt, one lapse in concentration, and the fall is absolute. The numbers tell a chilling story. At 300 meters, or nearly 1,000 feet, the wind is a relentless, invisible force. A sudden gust of just 30 miles per hour can feel like a physical shove, threatening to peel the climber from their precarious perch. The climber's body becomes a living sensor, feeling for every subtle change in pressure and texture. They must understand the building's architecture, not just as a path, but as a partner in a very dangerous dance. Training for this is punishing. It involves countless hours of building finger strength, core stability, and endurance. But you cannot fully replicate the psychological pressure of knowing there is no backup. The mind must be trained to stay calm, to block out the fear, to focus only on the next move. It's the ability to control one's own physiology, heart rate, breathing, adrenaline, when every instinct is screaming to let go. Failure is not a complex scenario here. It is brutally simple. A slip, a loss of grip, a moment of muscle fatigue. The fall time from 300 meters is approximately 8 seconds. In those few seconds, terminal velocity is reached. There is no recovery. Professionals mitigate this risk not with gear, but with knowledge. They study weather patterns for days, waiting for the perfect window of calm air. Their survival depends not on courage alone, but on this rigorous, unwavering preparation. Now we move from the vertical face of a building to the open sky. We are talking about plane wing walking. This stunt places a human being on the exterior of an aircraft, flying at thousands of feet. The performer is exposed to the full force of the elements. The roar of the engine is deafening. The wind is a physical wall, pushing against them with incredible power. They are not just standing. They are performing acrobatics across the wing's surface. The world scrolls by far below. The danger is multifaceted. Risk: being blown off by the wind. Risk: structural failure on the plane. Risk: simple human error in an unforgiving environment. The metrics are staggering. At an altitude of 2,000 feet, the air is thinner. The margin for error is non-existent. The plane might be traveling at 130 miles per hour. At that speed, the wind force is a solid, crushing pressure. Visuals help us comprehend this. Overlay altitude and wind speed data onto the footage. G-forces spike as the plane banks and turns. The tiny human against the vast sky highlights vulnerability. Every movement must be deliberate, slow, and anchored. Preparation is everything. Wing walkers spend years conditioning their bodies. They work with pilots they trust implicitly. They develop nonverbal communication for every maneuver. The harness is their only connection to the plane, inspected and re-inspected. Every strap, buckle, anchor point is tested for stress beyond what it will ever encounter. But the real training is mental. They learn to function in sensory overload, trust equipment completely, and execute with dancer-like precision, all while fighting the very air they are flying through. Failure scenarios are terrifying. A harness failure would be catastrophic and immediate. A misstep could send the performer tumbling, slammed against the tail. Mitigation is about control and redundancy. Pilot flies a pre-planned, smooth route. Routine is choreographed to minimize exposure. Equipment has multiple fail-safes. Survival is engineered through a partnership: pilot, performer, machine. Our final vertical risk is one of pure commitment, the building-to-building leap. This is not a climb or a walk. It is a single, explosive moment of trust in one's own power. The stunt performer stands on the edge of one rooftop, staring across a gap to another. The distance might be 10 feet, 15 feet, even 20 feet. Below them, there is nothing but a drop of hundreds of feet to the concrete below. This stunt is a pure calculation of physics and biomechanics. The performer must generate the exact amount of horizontal velocity to cross the gap, while gravity relentlessly pulls them downward. We use graphics to illustrate the gravity arc. This shows the parabolic path the jumper's body will take. Miss zone highlights show the tiny margin for error. If they jump with too little force, they will fall short. If they jump with too much force, they risk overshooting the landing zone. If they jump with too much force, they risk failing to control their impact. The landing is just as critical as the takeoff. The performer must absorb the immense shock of landing without stumbling. The performer must absorb the immense shock of landing without falling forward. Their body becomes a projectile, and they have only one chance to get the trajectory right. It is a single, violent burst of action where success and failure are decided in less than 2 seconds. Training for a building leap is highly specific. It's not just about being able to jump far, it's about being able to do it consistently and precisely. Athletes practice the jump at ground level hundreds of times. They use tape to mark the exact distance. They work on their takeoff technique, ensuring maximum power. They perfect their landing, learning to roll. They perfect their landing, dissipating the impact forces across their entire body. This muscle memory is crucial. When they are standing on that rooftop, with the wind howling, with their heart pounding, there is no time for thought. The body must simply execute what it has been trained to do, flawlessly and automatically. The consequences of a miscalculation are final. A slight hesitation on takeoff, a slippery surface, a gust of wind at the wrong moment. Any of these can alter the trajectory just enough to cause a fatal shortfall. Professionals reduce this risk through obsessive analysis. They measure the distance down to the inch. They use anemometers to measure wind speed and direction. They will often build a full-scale mock-up of the rooftops at a safe height to rehearse the entire sequence. The real leap is only attempted when they have proven, through data and repetition, that they can make it every single time. It's a triumph of science and athletic prowess over the fundamental law of gravity. We now shift our focus from the vertical world to the horizontal plane, where speed and momentum reign supreme. Here, the danger is not just falling, but failing to clear an obstacle at immense velocity. Consider the motorcycle jump over a line of buses. The stunt is a perfect storm of variables: the speed of the bike, the angle of the ramp, the distance of the gap, the weight of the rider. It's a problem of physics, solved with horsepower and sheer nerve. The rider becomes a projectile, their fate determined the very second their wheels leave the ramp. There is no turning back, no adjustment mid-air. The trajectory is locked in. The numbers involved are incredibly precise. A jump spanning 14 buses might cover a distance of over 150 feet. To clear this, the rider must hit the ramp at a specific speed, perhaps 80 or 90 miles per hour. A single mile per hour too slow, and they fall short, crashing into the last bus. Too fast, and they risk overshooting the landing ramp, resulting in a brutal high-speed impact with the ground. Failure animations show just how small the margin for error truly is, illustrating the catastrophic consequences of even a minor miscalculation. Training for such a feat is a science. Stunt performers don't just guess the speed. They work with engineers and physics experts to calculate the exact parameters. They practice on shorter jumps, gradually increasing the distance. They become intimately familiar with their motorcycle, understanding how it behaves under acceleration and how it feels at the point of takeoff. This isn't just about riding fast. It's about being able to control that speed with absolute precision. The rider must hit their mark perfectly, managing the immense psychological pressure of the approaching ramp and the vast empty space that awaits them on the other side. Mitigating risk is a game of inches and milliseconds. The takeoff ramp's surface must be perfectly clean and provide consistent traction. The landing ramp is designed to be as long and forgiving as possible, built to absorb the massive impact forces. Professionals will wait for dead calm conditions. The stunt is a chain of dependencies: the bike, the rider, the environment. All must align perfectly for that one brief soaring moment of success. The stakes are raised when you're not just clearing a static gap, but interacting with a moving object. This brings us to the high-speed train jump. A performer must jump from one moving platform, like a car or another train car, onto a train traveling at high speed. This is not about distance, it's about timing. You have to match the speed of a multi-ton machine and leap with only a fraction of a second to spare. The consequences are magnified by the train's momentum. It's a deadly dance with an unstoppable partner. The key is relative velocity. If the train is at 60 miles per hour, the performer must be traveling at almost exactly 60 miles per hour. Countdown graphics are essential to visualize the closing jump window. A frame-by-frame analysis shows how the landing zone appears and disappears in an instant. The jump may only cover a few feet, but at that speed, it's a chasm of speed. A moment of hesitation or misjudgment can lead to a horrifying outcome: falling onto the tracks in front of the wheels or between them. Preparation is obsessive. Stunt teams use GPS devices, radar, and telemetry to sync speeds. They practice the leap repeatedly in a static environment. They study the train roof, memorizing handholds and obstacles. Communication is critical, using hand signals and radio commands. The mental challenge is to stay calm at highway speeds beside a roaring locomotive. Failure isn't a simple fall. It's a collision with an unstoppable force. Too slow, and you hit the side of the train. Too late, and you miss the car entirely. The primary safety measure is planning. The entire sequence is rehearsed at lower speeds, choreographed like a military operation. A safety harness on wires is often used during rehearsal, but the final take often depends on raw skill and perfect timing. It is the ultimate test of precision in a high-momentum world. Finally, we look at a stunt where the danger isn't a single measurable force, but the absence of a second chance. This is the one-take, no rehearsal stunt. It's often a complex sequence, a fight scene, a fall from a height, onto hidden padding, a leap or escape onto a moving vehicle, all filmed in one continuous shot. Each element is planned, but the full sequence has never been performed together. The pressure is immense. Any mistake by the performer, the camera operator, or any crew member cannot be fixed with a cut. The whole attempt fails. The complexity is a chain reaction of events. A single shot indicator follows the performer on screen. There are no hidden edits or digital tricks. We highlight the critical decision points where tiny errors cascade. If the performer must land on a mark to avoid a collapsing set, they must hit it perfectly. A mistimed punch can cause real injury and ruin the take. This stunt tests not only physical skill, but the ability to think and adapt under extreme stress. No rehearsal is misleading. Teams rehearse components exhaustively. The fight is choreographed. The fall is practiced onto airbags and hidden padding. The vehicle's path is meticulously planned. What hasn't been done is linking everything into one fluid, high-stakes performance. The performer must rely on training and muscle memory to flow without hesitation. The danger is cumulative. A minor early injury can impair later sections. A slip-up can endanger the performer, the camera crew, or other actors. The only safety net is the team's skill and professionalism. Everyone must hit their marks with absolute precision. This stunt is the ultimate testament to teamwork and trust. It is a high-wire act without a wire, a gamble where the currency is physical safety, and the payout is a single, perfect, uninterrupted piece of action. We now enter a domain where the danger is not from height or speed, but from raw, elemental energy. This is the world of the full-body fire burn without extensive protective gear. In this stunt, a performer is intentionally set ablaze, often for a prolonged period, to create a visceral and terrifying visual. The risk is immediate and agonizingly personal. The human body is simply not designed to withstand direct contact with flame. The performer is gambling against time, counting on a thin layer of protective gel and their own resolve to endure temperatures that can exceed 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperature overlays on screen show the heat radiating from the performer's body, climbing rapidly as the accelerant ignites. We can use slow-motion visuals to capture the moment of ignition, showing how the flames engulf the figure in a fraction of a second. The safety lies in a multi-layered system. A fire-retardant suit is worn underneath the costume. But the real magic is the clear, viscous gel slathered over the performer's entire body and face. This gel absorbs the heat, essentially boiling away and creating a temporary barrier of steam between the skin and the fire. But this protection is finite. It lasts for mere seconds before it's gone. The performer must train to control their breathing. Inhaling the superheated air or toxic fumes from the accelerant would cause severe and potentially fatal damage to the lungs. They practice holding their breath for the duration of the burn, which might be anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds, an eternity when you are on fire. A dedicated safety team, armed with fire extinguishers and blankets, stands just off camera, ready to extinguish the flames the instant the stunt is complete, or if anything goes wrong. The communication and trust between the performer and their safety crew must be absolute. The margin for error is zero. If any patch of skin is missed by the protective gel, the result is an instant, severe burn. If the performer panics and inhales, the consequences are catastrophic. The type of fuel used is also critical. Some burn hotter or produce more smoke than others, and the team must choose the one that provides the visual effect with the least amount of risk. Worst-case protocols are rehearsed relentlessly. It is a stunt where survival is measured in seconds, demanding total calm in the face of overwhelming fire. From the consuming heat of fire, we move to the concussive force of an explosion. The explosion-timed escape is a classic stunt that relies on split-second precision. The performer must outrun a pyrotechnic detonation, clearing the danger zone just before the blast erupts behind them. This is not just about running fast. It's about hitting a specific mark at a precise moment. The danger comes from multiple sources: the shockwave, the flying debris, and the intense heat of the fireball. The stunt's success hinges on a perfect synchronization between the performer's actions and the pyrotechnician's trigger finger. It is a deadly race against a countdown that no one can see. To understand the risk, we must visualize the unseen forces. A countdown timer on screen builds tension, ticking away the seconds until detonation. We can show an overhead blast radius animation with the runner fleeing an expanding red radius from an X. A primary circle indicates the area of maximum concussive force, while a larger circle shows the scatter pattern of debris. The performer must clear both of these zones. Frame-by-frame slow-motion analysis can show how close the performer is to the expanding fireball. A stumble, a slight hesitation, or a misstep of just a few inches could place them directly in the path of the destructive wave, with devastating consequences. The planning for an explosion stunt is a masterclass in risk management. The pyrotechnics team uses carefully measured charges to control the size and direction of the blast. They will often use lighter materials like cork or balsa wood for debris to minimize the risk of serious injury. But the danger from the shockwave remains very real. The performer's path is cleared of any potential trip hazards. The ground might be wetted down to reduce dust and flying particles. The performer and pyrotechnician rehearse the timing using verbal cues or light signals, ensuring they are in perfect sync before the real explosive is ever brought to the set. Medical readiness is paramount. Paramedics and a medical team are on standby, prepared for blast and burn injuries. The worst-case protocol involves immediate medical intervention. Safety personnel deploy blast blankets to shield crew and equipment. Every single variable is controlled as much as humanly possible. But in the end, the stunt comes down to the performer's ability to execute a perfect sprint under the most extreme pressure imaginable. Our final risk in this act is the most unpredictable: an animal. The cage-free predator stunt involves a performer interacting directly with a dangerous animal such as a lion, a tiger, or a bear, without the safety of bars between them. Unlike fire or an explosion, an animal is not a predictable physical force. It is a living, thinking creature with its own instincts and moods. The danger is not just a matter of physics, but of animal psychology. The performer's safety depends entirely on their ability to read the animal's behavior, project confidence, and maintain the trust that has been built over years of training. One wrong move, one sign of fear, could trigger a primal, predatory response. Quantifying this risk is difficult, but we can use overlays to show probability indicators. These graphics might display the animal's stress level based on subtle cues like ear position, tail movement, or vocalizations. The stunt relies on the deep bond between the animal and its dedicated trainer, who is often the performer themselves. This relationship is not built overnight. It is the result of thousands of hours of positive reinforcement, mutual respect, and a profound understanding of the species. The trainer must know what startles the animal, what calms it, and what its absolute boundaries are. The performance is a quiet, tense dialogue between human and beast. The ethical considerations here are enormous. Professional animal handlers prioritize the animal's welfare above all else. The animal is never forced or coerced into a performance. The environment is kept calm and controlled to minimize stress. The scenes are planned around the animal's natural behaviors, rather than trying to make it do something alien or uncomfortable. The goal is to work in harmony with the animal, not to dominate it. It is a showcase of interspecies communication and trust. Even with the best training, the risk of an attack is ever present. These are wild animals, and their instincts can never be completely suppressed. The primary safety protocol is the trainer's own expertise. They are trained to recognize the earliest warning signs of agitation and to de-escalate the situation immediately. Other handlers are always present just off camera, ready to intervene if necessary, but their intervention is a last resort that could also escalate the situation. This stunt is a testament to a unique and dangerous skill, the ability to earn a place of trust within the world of an apex predator, where the rules are written by nature, not by man. We now submerge into a world where the most fundamental human need is denied. Breath, This is the underwater escape while restrained. A performer is shackled, handcuffed, or locked inside a container and plunged beneath the water's surface. The clock starts ticking immediately. Their only path to survival is to methodically pick the locks and navigate their way to air before their body gives out. The physical struggle against the restraints is immense, but the true battle is psychological. It is a fight against the primal, overwhelming panic that sets in when the brain is starved of oxygen. Every second feels like an eternity. The primary visual we use to convey this danger is the oxygen countdown overlay. This ticking clock is not just for dramatic effect, it represents a very real physiological limit. The sound design becomes claustrophobic. We hear the muffled scrape of the lockpick, the performer's constrained movements, and the pounding of their own heart. The pressure of the water itself adds to the confinement, creating a sensory deprivation chamber where the only reality is the burning need for air. Training for this stunt is brutal and highly specialized. Performers, often skilled escape artists, spend years conditioning their bodies. They practice in controlled environments like swimming pools, repeatedly pushing their breath hold limits to expand lung capacity and, more importantly, their tolerance for high levels of carbon dioxide in the blood. They learn to slow their heart rate, to conserve every bit of energy, and to remain calm and focused when every instinct is screaming to surface. They must know the mechanics of the locks so well that they can manipulate them by feel alone, in cold water, with their mind on the brink of panic. Failure is a silent, terrifying prospect. Dropping a lockpick, fumbling with a key, or encountering an unexpected snag can consume precious seconds. A moment of panic can cause the performer to waste oxygen, drastically shortening their survival window. The safety protocol is absolute. A team of safety divers surrounds the performer, just out of frame, ready to intervene at a pre-arranged signal or if the performer loses consciousness. They have tools to cut the restraints and bring the person to the surface immediately. But for the stunt to succeed, the performer must rely solely on their own skill and their mastery over their body's most urgent demand. From the crushing pressure of the deep, we ascend to the delicate balance of the high wire. The tightrope walk between two skyscrapers is a spectacle of pure focus. A single steel cable, often no thicker than an inch, is stretched across a chasm several hundred feet in the air. There is no harness. There is no safety net. The performer's only tools are their own body, a long balancing pole, and an unshakable sense of equilibrium. The enemy here is not just gravity, but the subtle, unpredictable movements of the wire itself. It sways with the wind and vibrates with every step, a living thing beneath their feet. The physics of balance are a constant negotiation. We use motion graphics to illustrate the sway and balance dynamics. A line graphic shows the center of gravity of the performer and how they use the balancing pole to keep it directly above the wire. Even a slight deviation can create an oscillation that is difficult to correct. Wind is a major factor. A sudden gust doesn't just push the performer, it pushes the wire, creating a complex wave motion. Visuals showing wind force help us understand this invisible threat. The performer must not fight these movements, but flow with them, making constant, tiny adjustments to maintain their footing in the sky. The training for a high wire walk is a lifetime's dedication. Performers start by practicing on a wire just a few feet off the ground. They spend thousands of hours walking back and forth, learning the feel of the cable and mastering the use of the balancing pole. They train their bodies to react instinctively, developing an almost sixth sense for balance. The psychological conditioning is just as important. They must learn to block out the dizzying height and the vast emptiness below. Their focus must shrink to only the wire, their feet, and the anchor point on the other side. This intense mental discipline is what separates them from ordinary athletes. A fall is the only outcome of a mistake. There is no recovery from a loss of balance at that height. The walk itself is the primary safety measure. It is done with such a high degree of skill that failure is statistically near impossible for the professional. However, they still plan for every variable. The rigging of the wire is an engineering feat in itself, calculated to handle tensions far greater than what the walk will produce. The weather is monitored obsessively, and a walk will be postponed for even a moderate breeze. The performer's trust is not in luck, but in their own flawless technique, honed over decades of practice until the wire becomes an extension of their own body. Finally, we explore a stunt where the performer willingly gives up their most critical sense: sight. The backward blindfolded jump is a terrifying display of trust and spatial awareness. The performer stands on a high platform, facing away from a target below, often an airbag or a body of water. They cannot see their landing zone. They cannot gauge the distance. They must rely on pure instinct and an internal sense of timing and trajectory built from countless hours of practice. This stunt removes the ability to make last-second adjustments, demanding a perfect execution based on muscle memory alone. It is a true leap into the unknown. The danger lies in the disorientation. Without visual cues, the body's sense of balance can be easily thrown off. We can use reaction time graphics to illustrate the challenge. In a normal jump, a performer can see the target and adjust their body during the fall. Here, the jump's success is determined the moment their feet leave the platform. A slow-motion analysis of the landing shows the precision required. The performer must execute a blind landing, positioning their body correctly to absorb the impact without injury, all without being able to see the surface rushing up to meet them. It is a profound test of an athlete's proprioception, their mind's map of their body in space. The training for this stunt is about building an unbreakable internal clock and compass. Performers practice the jump hundreds, if not thousands of times with their eyes open, measuring their steps and memorizing the feeling of the takeoff. They learn to calculate the arc of their jump based on the power they generate. Then, they begin practicing with a blindfold at very low heights. The goal is to make the movement so automatic that sight is no longer necessary. They are programming their body to complete a complex physical task without any external input, relying completely on the flawless execution of a pre-planned action. It's a powerful demonstration of the brain's neuroplasticity. Miscalculation can lead to severe injury. If the performer jumps with too much force, they can overshoot and miss the airbag entirely. If they jump with too little force, they can fall short. Landing incorrectly, even on the airbag, can result in spinal or neck injuries. The only way to mitigate this is through repetition and environmental control. The platform and the landing zone are measured and placed with absolute precision. The area is cleared of all personnel. The performer is given a verbal cue to initiate the jump, but from that point on, they are completely on their own. It is a stark and powerful moment, a final testament to the trust a performer must have in their own skill. The heartbeat fades. The explosions are silent. The wire, the flame, the void have all been conquered for now. We have journeyed through 15 minutes of calculated chaos, deconstructing moments where the line between a perfect take and a final frame is thinner than a razor's edge. From the dizzying heights of a skyscraper to the crushing pressure of the deep, we have witnessed the incredible discipline required to face down absolute consequence. These are not acts of reckless abandon. They are the culmination of years of training, meticulous planning, and an unwavering respect for the forces at play. They are a testament to what the human body and mind can achieve when pushed to the absolute limit. The men and women who perform these stunts are not adrenaline junkies. They are scientists of risk, athletes of precision, and masters of fear. They calculate every variable, from wind speed to blast radius, from oxygen levels to the psychology of a predator. Their survival is not a matter of luck, but of engineering, earned through endless repetition and an obsessive attention to detail. What we see as a breathtaking moment of action is, for them, the quiet, focused execution of a plan. It is a powerful reminder that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. This is the art behind the danger. Let us be clear, these feats are to be respected, not imitated. The chasm between their skill and an amateur attempt is the difference between life and death. The purpose of this exploration was not to glorify danger, but to honor the profound skill that makes survival possible. It is about understanding the preparation, the focus, and the immense pressure that forges these extraordinary moments. The screen may fade to black, but the dedication behind the stunt remains a constant, unseen force. As the final credits roll on these incredible displays, one truth remains. These professionals willingly step up to the edge, but they do so with the knowledge that their preparation is their only safety net. They have shown us that the human spirit can stare into the abyss, not with arrogance, but with a deep and abiding respect for the risk. They have earned their survival, one perfectly executed, heart-stopping moment at a time. The real spectacle is not the danger itself, but the skill that defies it.